Hello, we are doing a special version of the STR Intel today. My name is Craig with Hosty and Killian, Hosty in Arizona. How you doing, Killian?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We got an awesome house to go over today.
Yeah, so this one's been on with us for quite some time. And I know, Killian, you worked with the current homeowner bringing the home on. So, I mean, what were your favorite things about this house? Why do you think somebody should buy it? What's your elevator pitch for this home?
Okay, I am incredibly biased at this point, hundreds of homes that I've helped work with. This one is my favorite. It has a special place in my heart. In my opinion, this property embodies the classic mountain log cabin feel getaway. The A-frame, the views, the hot tub, the exclusion from kind of your metro, your city areas, but not far enough away that you can't go and enjoy those areas of, well, this particular case, Woodland Park and even Colorado Springs. But you have everything you could need, from plenty of sleeping arrangements to a game room, to the hot tub, as I mentioned, and the views. So, in my opinion, this is a property that, if you're looking for a mountain retreat, a mountain vacation, it checks all your boxes, nestled over there on the west side of Pikes Peak, basically.
Well, and a couple different things, aside from, and I'm kind of going through the pictures here,
Yeah.
just casually, so you can showcase everything. But some important things to know, well, about Woodland Park, the short-term rental industry in this neck of the woods, for say, Woodland Park is currently going through city limits of Woodland Park is going through some changes with permits, short-term rentals, and what have you. Very important here, this home falls outside the city limits of Woodland Park, so it does not have to succumb to any of the city limits, rules, restrictions, so on and so forth. So it could be a very even greater opportunity, because inventory will decrease in the city limits of Woodland Park, where that will naturally push guests and just demand outside the city limits to homes like this. And as you're seeing in these pictures, it's beautifully furnished. All this stuff, the furnishings, the hot tub, the grill, that's the other important facet of this home, is all that comes with the sale. So if anyone's ever set up a short-term rental, it's quite the feat. And when you think you're done, you got to add 3 more things to that list. But this comes full turnkey. It's got dishes in the cabinets, pillows on the beds, everything. And actually, here, I was gonna say, one of the coolest things that I like about this property is the game room. So just a ton of space. I mean, you get a family reunion here. You got ping pong, foosball, shuffleboard. You open up those garage doors on a nice day. You get that breeze coming in. It's got everything, as you were saying, that you could ask for in a short-term rental. And
you have a great kind of a private retreat. So a lot of times you see 5-bedroom homes where there's very, very little space. And once you fill all those bedrooms, you've got a cramped home. You've got a 3-level home. You've got a family room on one floor, television, views of the mountains, just kind of an area for guest activity. You have an entire basement with another kind of family living room, television, fireplace, table. You also have a good bedroom to bathroom ratio. So if you've got a 5-bedroom home with 2 baths, that makes it a little tough. Like two bathrooms would be shared over potentially 12 or so guests. This is a 5-bedroom. In the world of vacation rentals, it's a 5-bedroom. Technically, it's listed as a 4-bedroom, but that's only because the absence of either a closet or the loft. Forgive me, I'm not sure which one, but
so you got a bonus around bedroom.
Bonus round. You can have the kids in the game room. You can have a multi-generational family. You've got the upstairs, the downstairs, the game room. You've got plenty of wooded area to run around on. You don't have to worry about your neighbors. And it's also set up so once you're out there, you don't necessarily have to be driving back and forth to the city or to Woodland Park. You've got your game room, you have your hot tub, you have your televisions, kind of everything you could need to have a good weekend, a good week out in the mountains. Maybe one trip to the grocery store as you start the trip off.
Well, and it's true and tested performance, and that's the other thing here too, where obviously we love this home, right? We manage this home, we've managed it for years. We want to keep this home. So whoever buys this home, we'd love for you to stay with us, and that's the cool thing. This is all set up where it'd just be a couple clicks, and you could keep getting reservations. There's reservations on the books for next month already, and then just gotta, with a click of a button, open up January and beyond. So when you're purchasing a home, typically there is that ramp up phase where you are setting things up, you're spending more money than you ever have in your life on furnishing this thing, and then you're just nipping at the bit there to get it set up and start getting money coming in the door. You can get rid of all that and have money coming in the door immediately, right? And typically, if you are financing this deal, there is about 60 days before you have to pay your first mortgage. You get to skip a month, if you will. How cool is that? You could start building up that reserve account for the property immediately, because you could open the doors, open the calendar right away. So yeah, I mean, that's, I think, a really exciting opportunity for anyone out there looking.
I think it's a very big deal to hound on. So as you're saying, most investors will find the property, it'll come unfurnished, and there's quite a lot of work that goes into it. And it can be done sometimes fairly quickly, but on a home this size, it's usually like a 2 month at the earliest process, especially a little bit more remote property where it's like, hey, American Furniture Warehouse isn't just right down the road.
Home Depot's a day trip.
Yeah, right off the bat, you have your furniture that's probably $40,000-$50,000 worth of furniture, and then the hot tub. It can the number keeps going. The kitchen items, everything, and with reservations on the books, you're walking into an immediately cash flowing property, turnkey, ready to go, with very, very limited, if any, involvement.
Well, this home truly takes the vacation rental model to the next level, right? Because you're seeing the industry evolve year after year, day after day, where people are looking for the next best thing. It used to be you could, I think the industry started out couch surfing, right? Whereas people would literally crash on a couch in somebody's living room. Weird, right? But now, it's evolved to, I want this, I want this, I want this. And now this has everything. This is a home run. It's got the privacy, the games, the amenities, the space. It's that true hotel feel, but in a home, a cabin home, the remoteness. So again, I can't say enough good things about it, but at this point, I'm sure all of our fans are like, cool, but what's the catch? Well, the catch is you got to buy it, and it's listed right now on the market for 1.2, which for an investment to work, you got to see the numbers, right? So, can you see this tab?
Yeah, let's see how it's been doing.
So, this is a short-term rental cash-on-cash calculator, and when we ran some projections on this home, it has with the market. Kind of mirroring what performance would look like, would be about 120K gross income per year, per calendar year, 12 months. And that would look like something like 476 average daily rate, and then occupancy rate out of 70% for the calendar year 365. And this is assuming some things, this whole sheet here, right? This is assuming that interest will be 6% whenever you buy this. The taxes, those are accurate, pulled them from the site. Assumption here on the insurance, it might be a little higher, but I didn't personally get a quote. So this has some assumptions built into it, but as you can see, a 5% cash on cash return there. And important things to look at here, it's a zero there. Zero renovation, repairs, furnitures, that helps that number a ton. And then, something here too, we're talking a lot about setup, the costs associated with that. We didn't talk anything about the time that you're putting into it. If you were to build, if you did it yourself, even the opportunity cost that you'd have with that, it's hard to quantify, but it's worth talking about. But yeah, when you look at this, the net operating income after monthly expenses would be around, looks like, about $7,000. Now, like I said, this is built off the projections. We do have actual performance stats on this home. The current homeowner, which it's a wonderful thing to have a rental for personal use, right? But the current homeowner did have blocks on the calendar for about 23%, 27% of the year.
Yeah, about 20 or so percent of the year.
Which again, like that's the beautiful thing about having an amazing property like this, the personal use. And they're trying to sell the property, so there's been some blocks there, showings, so on and so forth. So the actual performance that we have on the books, even with the 20% or so calendar blocked, was about 103 gross, 103,000 gross income.
Wow. So if I may jump in there, so usually we work with two different types of folks. One is they use vacation rentals as a way to cover their mortgage and have a beautiful property to use for their own personal use. And revenue isn't their number one priority. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we've got the pure 100% investors where the revenue of the property is the utmost important case. So these particular owners also used it as their own vacation home, and they use it for about 20% of that time. And so the numbers that Craig is talking about is coming from an incredible year of performance with only 80% of the year to actually get booked up. So if you're someone who wants to own a beautiful home outside of Woodland Park with 10 acres and just wants your mortgage covered, you know exactly what that is going to look like. If you're someone who wants to buy this strictly as an investment property, well, now we know the potential for this property. You give a solid management company like Hosty another 20% of the year to get booked up, which are any nights that an owner wants to come stay in their home are usually the best nights of the year, getting the highest value. So someone who's looking to purchase this property strictly for an investment knows that all their expenses and costs are going to be covered, and they may have potentially another $20,000 to $22,000 of gross income just waiting on the table to be captured. So
yeah,
just to add on to that.
No, I think that's very, very well put. And, to that point too, like if you were looking at this as a true investment, right, and, just running it like a straight business, there will be those gap days where, like I personally have a cabin up in Woodland Park myself, where if it's open a random night, we'll go up there and enjoy the property. So, you can do both of those things at the same time, depending on what your goals are. Now, if like you're like, hey, I don't care what I'm losing on Christmas, I want to stay there. Awesome. That place is beautiful Christmas Day, I bet. So, you can do both. And something else I kind of wanted to go back to, like we're talking these numbers and, running a place like this, it's a lofty feat, right? So obviously we'd love to, manage the home still. This already has our management fee built into it. So these numbers that we're looking at, it's cash flowing with our management fee already included in that. So just wanted to point that out for any of our viewers out there who might have been, wondering what that looked like. So
It's perfect.
But yeah, I mean, that's a wrap.
What do we have in here? So we've got, you kind of went over them.
Yeah.
But this is essentially what we're looking at here would be every expense in running this property, correct?
Yep. So closing costs, and this is all built on a formula. This, obviously we're not lenders, we're not title companies. So these numbers by all means are not approximate. Obviously when you buy the property, you'll go through that process. But the goal here is just to give some insight and ideas of what could be possible based on the market, based on what we've seen. So taxes, like I said, that's an actual amount I pulled from the MLS. Insurance, my guess is, that'd be ballpark, right? So whatever company you go through would give more approximations on that. Monthly supplies, you have a hot tub there, right? So it needs to be clean, balanced between each stay. It's important in a place like that you have supplies in the home. We stock the home each month, well, between each stay, frankly, and that 145 would cover everything that you'd need in the home. And we'd provide that 350. That's an approximation for utilities. internet 55, again, approximation. You could, lump those two together, a little over 400 utilities. I'd say that's pretty accurate. So that's where all that's built off of. Then you jump over to net operating income. It breaks it down into what we're seeing there. So, property taxes, $330 a month, insurance, $125, management, $2230, supplies, $145, utilities, so on and so forth. So that goes your net expenses, and then you take the income there. That's where you get your net operating income. So pretty easy. And if anyone did want to, if any of our fans out there wanted to go over one of these things, we'd gladly do so. This is something that we look at and stare at, crunch numbers all the time. And with that being said too, we'll put the link for the property in the description here, so you can actually see the listing on the sites and, browse through at your own leisure. I went through the pictures, some of them kind of fast, so you can look through all that good stuff. And obviously, if you were, looking for an agent, we'd be glad to talk to you and set you up with some good ones. I happen to know a few. So, but yeah, I mean, anything else that you think is of relevance, Killian?
I just think that this is a absolutely beautiful property. You have 10 acres of land in one of the most beautiful places in the world. You're 15 minutes away from Woodland Park. You're about 35, 40 minutes away from Colorado Springs, both towns and cities, growing areas, extremely sought after. And this is a little speculation. I'm going a little bit out on a limb here, but if people are somewhat familiar with the Colorado area, you have particular areas that increase in home value because people are getting land and they're not too far away from a city, and they are purchasing them maybe for retirement or to get their family out of cities, or just to have a little bit of a break from big cities these days. And someone could buy this property, immediately start cash flowing, hold it in their family for 5-10 years, and have a beautiful, beautiful home to retire to that at the minimum paid for itself the entire time, and may even get some enjoyment out of it while it's being managed and rented out on their behalf. So aside from the vacation rental side of things, you don't find a lot of properties like this. And there's only a couple ways out of Denver and Colorado Springs into your mountain towns, your ski towns, your sought after vacation mountain towns. You can either go west out of Denver or you can go west out of Colorado Springs. And both of those corridors have just been going up and up in home value and price because they're becoming more and more sought after. And this is, again, I mean, this property has my heart. I love it. I helped set it up. All of it. And so whomever is able to get their hands on this property, just it's a win-win in my opinion, no matter how you dice it up. So that's my and I can't help it. I'm an Arizona agent, but that's what I it's just such an incredible property. Yeah.
That's I think beautiful closer there. So yeah, I mean, any questions, please comment, reach out to us. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description here, and we'd love to see this go to any of you awesome investors out there and keep it cash flowing. So
absolutely
awesome. Well, thank you, Killian. It was a pleasure as always, and we'll see you next time on the STR.
Talk to you soon, Craig.